This is coal. You've all heard of coal. Most of you probably got this in your Christmas stocking, right? Feel that? Coal.
It's pretty dense.
Yeah, feel that. That's coke. So when you, and coke is the stuff we're actually going to burn to do our work. So to turn this into this, we just heat it up. And we'll get a whole bunch of smoke and coke it up. And then the byproduct of the coking process is clinkers. And let me see if I can find one. These are your enemy. These are all the impurities from the coal. And a lot of it goes up in smoke, but a lot of it settles to the bottom of the bowl, and this is what you get. And the reason they're called clinkers is they have that itchy sound, and they stick to everything. Yeah, so you can always just find them in there and just kick them out. They kick right out. And you don't want those in your bowl because they suck the heat out of it. They actually wreck your project. So the first thing we'll do is start a fire. This little thing, the rattle you hear, that's a clinker breaker. In order to get the coal going, you need a wood fire. And in order to get the coke going, you need a coal fire. So it all kind of stacks up.
Where do you get your coal from?
Gosh, everybody asks that. Everybody. It's so hard to find. There's a blacksmith in Salmon, Idaho that does everything with bark. Yeah. And so you don't need coal. You can use wood. And just, you know, as long as you mix air with stuff.
It's hot enough?
Yeah. All right. We're going to need the... Yep.
How much?
Keep bringing it over. And let me show you how I do it. So this is the air here. This is where the one that has to go the right direction or you'll blow your head off. And you put this stuff around the edges like this. All right, you take over that part of it.
Keep pouring?
Yep, and make a mountain in there.
I'll put all the fresh coal on the outside, sort of in a ring around the outside. And then as we go, you just sort of push it in as you're kneading the head. And as the close stuff turns into coke, it's ready to go into the middle to get the hottest butter. Well, let's just throw a chunk of metal in there and get started a little bit. And I'm just going to basically get you guys started and let you have at it.
Most people don't what I always do is use the bend. And that's because you push with the back here.
So you're consistently doing that throughout the whole time?
Yeah, you're always messing around with stuff. A couple other parts of the horn here. This little rectangular spot right here is a cutting table, so if you're doing something where you're actually cutting through the metal, you don't want to mess up the face of the good face of the anvil. So you put it on the little cutting table there. There's a couple holes in an anvil. One of them is called a Pritchel hole, that's the round one, and the square one's called a Hardy hole, and they're made for holding specialized little tools for cutting and shaping things.
It's melting.
We don't want that. Oh yeah, that's a good example. We got lots of metal, so this is a good example of what happens when it gets too hot. You see how it's actually eaten away. But we can fix that.
There are no real rules here.
No.
Just don't burn yourself.
That's the fun part. And if you mess it up, you don't like it, you can squish it into something else or cut it off and start over.
It's called artistic expression.
That's
I
right.
always make a back scratcher out of it.
Just move methodically up and down the area that you're going to work on. This is square. If you were wanting to round something, you can work on this half for a little bit, and then you rotate it 90 degrees. Because the same thing that I'm doing on the top of this and I'm hammering it is happening on the bottom of it because of the flat face of the anvil head there.
Shoot good sharp bend, you'll want to whomp it at the same time.
Right here?
Yeah. There you go, right there. Yeah. Nice. And you just take it out of there and finish her up.
Okay. Bring it over here.
Okay.
It'll be hard enough to get it away. You can reshape that, yep.
Right on over.
Use the mice to square it up.
Yep, you just use the vise and pinch it any way you like. Cinder block comes from the word cinder. It used to be this stuff. It was the byproduct of, yeah, it was all the byproduct of instead of sand, I guess they used cinders. So yeah, there is a use for that. That's a good one there. If I got all the rip. These tools here, I built the taper on the end of this and drilled a hole in here and put wire around it like this, bound it pretty tight. Another way to do it is a hose clamp, works really well. And then you just slam it in there, but put epoxy in there first. Epoxy is good stuff. And I've used this for a long time and it will not break. So that's how you make specialty tools. These are for planting cuttings, poplar cuttings. We planted 72,000 of them this month and using these tools. My whole crew came over and we just, each of us made our own individual tools. Here's a great way to do it. Find an old shovel and just cut it off and use the color that's already there. Still, the epoxy is really important. And more than just making it stick in there, it actually beds it. So there's no gaps anywhere.